When looking to deal with filtration after a tank of a rainwater setup, you want to make sure you have at least one, but preferably two barriers for bacteria. You want to have a good system in place to catch dust and dirt that might be left in the water, and preferably some form of carbon to catch organic molecules in the water. Now, this can be done either on an outside scale like we have here, or it can be done with smaller units that you would fit under the basin, for example, in the kitchen, if you just need a single point of clean water. What we would normally fit, however, is a triple big blue system using these following filters. Now, before we get to these filters, we typically would want something in place to extend the lifespan of these filters, which is something like a washable disc filter. You could also look at something like an AFM vessel. As just putting a big blue unit directly, you typically run through filters like crazy, and the whole system ends up costing a lot of money to keep running. So the first step would be a sediment filter, which catches a lot of dirt and filters relatively fine. And typically we would filter to 1 micron. We actually start to get a little bit of bacteria stop, but the primary reason for this is as fine as we can filter with a relatively inexpensive cartridge. As the next one is quite a bit more expensive, and that is probably our most important filter, as that's a 0.1 micron filter that physically would stop bacteria from getting through. And we want to do as much as we can to extend the lifespan of these filters, and that's done in two areas. The one is by using washable filters and relatively inexpensive cartridges before it, and the other thing is to make sure that you keep your bacteria levels in the tank relatively low, as if you get a very high bacteria growth in the tank, everything is going to come and sit in this filter and it's going to clog up very, very quickly. Then next we'd want to go to something like a carbon or a KDF filter. Carbon is used to absorb the organic molecules that would give you a funny taste or smell in the water. But the big downside with carbon is it's very easy for bacteria to sit in the carbon filters and grow there. That's why we'd normally recommend something like the KDF, which is basically 2 parts of KDF and 3 parts carbon mixed together. And what the KDF does is it actually kills the bacteria that tries to grow inside of the carbon filters, giving the filter a much longer lifespan. Now, once you're through these 3 filters, you technically have a very good water. But we prefer to put something like a germicidal inline UV light after it, just to be safe, as something like this is not a 100% solution. And you want something in place for if either something goes wrong, that the filter gets bypassed or gets damaged, or just if you think you potentially have a high dose of bacteria coming through, like say you're using water and you've just got a fresh patch of rain in, then odds are you're going to get some bypass, and the UV light will take care of that, and just make sure that you can be fairly comfortable with having a good quality drinking water throughout your whole house.